with mild side effects.
Good morning and welcome to 2026.
Hello and welcome back to the Mild Side Effect podcast.
My name is Michał.
And this is Balázs here.
Balázs, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Did you have a nice holiday break?
Indeed, a good one I had.
Did you get some nice rest and disconnection?
Very much. How about you?
Yeah, same. I can definitely say it's been a nice holiday break and still got some couple days in the back burner, so looking forward to those as well.
Nice.
And the reason we are touching on that is this episode is going to be on mental health. So we've titled this, "Are we just one team's call away from a mental breakdown?" Well, I can say openly that this holiday period has given me a good time to just disconnect and relax and not to worry about budgets, quotas, follow-ups, emails, opportunities, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Do you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I had a very nice and relaxing Christmas time. One of the best ones in the last 20 years. But yeah, I had much easier year-end than before. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is I would say a very unique time because with Christmas and New Year's, we have a time when everybody is disconnected, right? So, or maybe almost everybody.
Yeah.
Not calling out anyone there who's working on the 31st of December, maybe.
No way.
But that's not the usual case across the whole year, because we disconnect on our personal level during the course of the year on a very random basis. And when we have holidays, maybe others don't have holidays. So this is definitely a very, very valuable time, I would say.
Indeed, it is. And for some people, Christmas is mentally challenging because of family and family functions and a lot of pressure on performing. Is it on the Christmas decoration? Is it about presents? Is it about food and different sweets and candies and cookies? Yeah, there is pressure, of course, also on that. But I would say this is a sweet pressure usually. But there would be people who would see it otherwise. And I know that some people like to travel far, far away during Christmas period just to get away from that. So Christmas in itself can be mentally challenging for some people.
Indeed. It can, the amount of preparations, and then suddenly turns out that on the 24th of December, you find out there is one crucial component missing, and, whole Christmas is ruined. But yeah, luckily.
If you talk to people who work in first aid and ambulances and they will tell you that this is a quite the same. It goes always the same. 24th is about all the injuries related to cuts and related to the Christmas tree and burns, of course, from all the cooking. Then 25th, 26th is typically all the kind of intoxications, and after the 27th is all the kind of murders and violence. and this sounds funny as it is, and it's not funny because it's true.
Yeah,
this is the statistics. Yeah.
And at some point also there's on the Christmas time there is a period of all the food trauma that you get, and some people don't survive that. But yeah, jokes aside, that's the later segment. So so let's get back to the actual rest of the year, right? It's not only the Christmas and New Year's, but there is other 50 weeks in the calendar that could lead us to that breakdown after one more team's call. And the reason why we want to talk about this is that we know that in some cases that we get very close to, or we actually get to the point that we get burned out by the workload, and in some cases it's been a situation where people don't realize it's just too late, and they uh,
And and the
they're
question
out.
is, are we aware of the certain signs of the burnout,
Hmm.
or we only know
Hmm.
the serious signs whenever it hits the depression part, or
Hmm.
asking the serious questions about life and goals, and that is already a late stage. But there
Hmm.
are, of course, plenty of early signs which we tend to
Yeah.
overlook. Yeah. Um,
So from our side, it's the case of being available all the time, right? We're not the guys in sales who work 8 hours per day, and then we just shut off our laptops and disconnect, and we get back to our desk like somebody who works in administration, and like a person who works in a city council, right? Who just logs off, taps out, and tomorrow's
yeah.
another day. We've
Yeah.
got those, we've got those notifications everywhere. We got phone calls. There's an urgent fire happening at 6 p.m. when we are just trying to relax after a very long day.
Indeed. And we also admit that our job is not the most stressful in the world. So there are
No,
other
of
jobs.
course.
Also in the office world, there are ones like the stockbrokers and,
Hmm.
of course, those who are in intensive care and day to day see traumas. That's a different level of stress.
Yeah, indeed.
We have nothing like that. God bless. And
Hmm. Yeah.
I personally wouldn't be able to handle that. But yeah, sales and with deadlines, with projects, definitely has its
Hmm.
stress factor. Yeah, and
Yeah.
pressure.
So maybe we can talk here briefly about the mild side effects, because there's certain categories of side effects, and we're the mild side effects, so we can talk about um the stuff that is you can work on, you can manage on your own, and maybe with afterwards we can discuss about how do you manage that. And in a later part, we're gonna talk about some maybe hardcore stuff. What happens if you don't do it?
Mm.
So you know, it's a case where at least in Poland, we have this meme saying, I'm fine. I'm just gonna hit another coffee and I'll be fine, right?
Mm.
So it's just making a little bit of a joke of fatigue, where you're gonna stimulate yourself with your fifth coffee of the day, or even six. I I I drink it all the time. I mean, at some point you just have to manage somehow.
I was wondering if you will. I thought you will tell. You will become Italian at some point. You're drinking so much coffee, but no.
I mean, at the level of the coffee that I'm drinking, I'm definitely already partially Italian. Although the Italians might complain about my choices in pasta, especially the strawberry version of pasta from Poland in the summer. That
Big shout
triggers
out
the
to
Italians.
big shout out to Iga, who also made the strawberry pasta famous all over the
Exactly,
world. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So, no, I'm what I'm briefly wanted to chat about is, like what what are like the symptoms that you could, let's say, feel out that something is not right, and you are actually starting to burn out in your role in your day-to-day work life.
Yeah. And so for me, it's definitely, I have a rather high social dynamo, and I can
Hmm.
switch it on
Hmm.
as I wish, and I can switch to sales mode relatively fast. This is what I think.
Hmm.
But when I feel that, oh, it needs extra effort, this is already a bad sign for me.
Hmm.
Number two is when I get somehow disassociated during meetings. That's always a
Hmm.
very bad sign that,
Yep.
oh, Balazs, you're tired, because keep focus on what the customer wants, on what
Hmm.
they are. Ask your questions, ask the right questions at the right
Yep.
moment, and watch
Yep.
them. And easy, when you get tired, you go back to some older routines, you get disassociated from the whole meeting. And you
Hmm.
can, if I think, when for salespeople, if you cannot switch on this sales mode easily, that's already a bad sign, that it
Yeah.
means that something need to be put back to the first stage. But this is typically first stage, second stage, not deep exhaustion or tiredness.
But
Just
I want to touch on that, and that's actually an interesting part, Balash, because you remember after, let's say, we have the pre-COVID times, and then we had the COVID times and post-COVID, right? In
yeah,
the pre-COVID times, I remember the travel for meetings, and the pressure for that was extreme, right?
yeah,
You were on the road, you were meeting the customers, you were visiting, you're one day in one country, the other day in another country, um, but but right, you were traveling, so you had those, let's say, two meetings or three meetings, but other than that, let's say you were traveling by car, you were flying by plane,
mm,
maybe you had your laptop out when you could do that, right? But now it's also the case that in COVID and post-COVID times, it's I would call it Teams fatigue,
mhm.
because we switched to those meetings online, right? And that's great because very often we're able to do, meet with a customer here and a customer there without really the need to travel. But then there's also like five other meetings that you're attending, and I also sometimes catch myself thinking, the classic, this could have been an email, where you're sitting for an hour, and you're participating in a call, which is somebody telling you something and explaining, and at some point you catch yourself just blankly staring at the screen, right?
At at yourself typically. Yeah.
Well, it's like hard to connect. Like we're talking to each other right now, and I see you on the screen, and I don't know if I'm looking at the camera or I'm looking at myself or I'm looking at.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that also can come from that. Teams fatigue, I would say, we would call it like that. We typically use Teams as a tool to connect, right?
Sure, sure, and it definitely exists. And I would say, if you have back-to-back meetings,
Hmm.
don't put together a day where you have 6, 7, 8 back-to-back meetings if they are really important, e
Mhm.
especially if there is
Yep.
not much space in between. So that could be challenging because,
Mhm.
yeah, you won't be able to perform after the second one.
Mhm. Mhm.
You need to keep a little bit of lag in between.
Yep. One symptom for me, that I had in my life was, the feeling of Sunday dread.
Mhm,
You know that feeling that when you're sitting on a Sunday, you know, early afternoon, right? You're preparing lunch or whatever, and then a thought hits you, "Oh my god, it's Monday tomorrow."
mhm.
Right?
And it's especially worse make it worse when you travel on Sunday evenings, then
Mhm.
most of the day you have your day free, sure. You just
Mhm.
fly out in the evening, but you have this uneasy feeling that,
Mhm.
ah, yeah, this evening you will be on the road. So yeah,
Reisefieber.
Reisefieber, exactly.
Mhm.
Beautiful German word.
Okay. So no, that's for me, that would have been one of those symptoms, you know? I mean, personally, I don't have that now. Um, it's a case where sometimes, on a Sunday evening, you think, "Oh, okay, tomorrow I have to do this and that," and you start thinking about it, but it's not in a sense of dread and fear and like despise even, and I had these sort of feelings in my life, which were, I would say, burnout symptoms, because you stop for those 2 days, and then on the Monday morning you jump on a high speed bullet train where you know the flow just comes in and it never ends, right?
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And in our culture is the same, but in Asian culture, it's even more prevalent
Hmm.
that being
Hmm.
busy is very important to show busy
Hmm.
as well. And it's being exhausted in work. I think the Japanese have a specific term for that, and I missed to look it up. But there is a
Hmm.
specific term to do a small day nap in the office because they
Hmm.
spend immense working hours, and I won't be able to do that. But 12, 14 hours sometimes, or even longer sometimes, and they
Yep.
and doing a small nap from exhaustion at their desk is viewed as something as they are proud of those employees. And is it good? Is it efficient? It's another story, and we don't touch this.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely exists. And you mentioned previously in a classic series that was a great way to show busy, and that was in Seinfeld.
Hmm.
That yeah, if you look annoyed, annoyed looks busy, and that was really funny, but also very true that busy people always look super annoyed, uh, which is not
Well, for those who maybe go to the office, I can't show being annoyed, because
no no.
basically I work remotely, so I can maybe show uh, being annoyed to my team, but they wouldn't say that I'm busy because of that.
Yeah, and in sales, you have to stay focused and
Mm,
positive
yep,
front of the customer.
yep,
Only
yep.
happy people can sell.
Mhm. So and I that there's another point. So there's a level of busy, by showing you're busy, but that might be pretending sometimes. But there's a term that I actually learned from you, and I remember seeing you burned out, my dear friend. uh, and you asked me, then I remember, uh, do I have 996? I was like, Balash, what the hell are you talking about? What is 996? And you said to me, like, I remember, like, working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. I said, what?
At in and most Asian cultures, that's standard.
Yeah, but that's the point where you can do that, of course, but to a certain point, and then what's next?
Yeah, either your brain or your body or both says no. Yeah,
And where's the efficiency in that? I mean, that we get to the point that um we w- in our lives we were definitely at a point where you feel like when you putting in a lot of work and spending a lot of time and sitting at your desk at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., working on some things. It's you think like, wow, you're putting in a lot of work, you must be productive, right? But that's not the
necessarily.
truth,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. And then you pay the toll, and that leads also to the next topic: how we deal with the mild side effects.
Yeah, so those were the mild side effects, that
Yeah, 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 yeah,
you
definitely.
you realize that you're just tired after putting in those silly hours, or the excessive travel, or the back to back to back. We like that term from CPHI, meetings, where after the whole day you're just a mentally drained zombie.
Mm.
Um, and I would say that definitely in our times now there is At, well, it might be a term that is coined just for the sake of coining it. That like, oh, you have to reset. But we're the ones saying yes, that you really need to do it. That showing the weakness and tiredness, and it's not the sign of weakness of yours, that you are saying, oh, you're just, don't suck it up, don't be um uh
Yeah,
a weakling, right?
yeah, yeah,
Just
and I think
push
there
through
is.
it.
Yeah, and I think there is a positive upgrade in the last couple of years in that
Mhm,
matter, that most companies, they understood that. Of course, there are
mhm,
exceptions, but many
mhm,
of them understood that it's better to keep a balance and to keep workers at an okay level
mhm,
rather than
mhm,
push them to
mhm.
certain limits,
Yeah.
because it's much better. And I think today is much more accepted that, sorry, I need to switch off now and do a reset
Mhm,
couple of days, and it's very much more understanding than before in terms of
mhm,
this
mhm.
grind, which was always
Yeah.
celebrated. I think it's shifted more to a more healthy approach. Of course, there are big differences here and there, uh, and the methods, of course. We will talk about alcohol in a different episode for sure, because it leads
Yeah.
to a lot of exciting other topics and medicines and fatty liver disease, which is a great joy to talk about.
I think that's the term was coined: work hard, play hard, right?
Yeah.
That's the grind, and then afterwards the reset in a maybe not so healthy way, right?
Definitely 15
Hmm.
shots probably is not the one. But if they meant to play hard like that, I wasn't always sure, because English is not my native language. But in my understanding, play hard was that, right? So party hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You like
Yeah,
you're putting the grind, and then afterwards you do a hard reset, right? And
yeah.
that's maybe not. We know that that's not the way. I mean, we see that also on a, I would say, generational level, between, let's say, maybe us and the previous generations,
Mhm.
the older generations,
Yeah,
who lived a completely different lifestyle, right?
yeah. Mm,
And again, before I go to, let's say we go to the discussion on how to do that. I would also um, like to mention one important part, at least for me. What is important, that your job does not burn you out. And I would say the number one factor is your manager.
mm,
Your
okay.
manager who is a supportive person, who tells you, just if you are feeling exhausted, just switch off.
Mm,
You can do this later. It's not something that the whole world will crash and burn if you don't do it right now.
yeah.
And take care of yourself. Um, because at some point you will be like a match that just fizzles out, right?
Definitely. And I don't think any of our managers would watch this video. So I can openly say that we are rather lucky with our managers. I know
Yeah.
yours, you
Oh,
know
oh,
mine.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I would say that we are definitely on the lucky side here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, historically, I can say I've been pretty lucky.
Mm,
I've, of course, in my life, I've seen styles of management in the past which are not the best,
mm.
and definitely I would know what to avoid, and watch for those for those signs. So, okay, let's discuss about, let's say, breaking that pattern. So when the mild side effects of fatigue, exhaustion, maybe early stages of burnout, like, what do you actually do? And again, we're not psychologists here, we're not psychiatrists who are going to be giving advice, stuff like that. It's how we do it on our own.
And these are fully personal, might work or not
Yeah.
work for us, but
Yeah.
it cannot be applied to others. So for me, I really like to go out and hike, do hikes in the woods,
Mhm.
and that I feel that it helps that I don't see people or a lot of people, and I don't see any buildings, just
Mhm.
trees and green. It does
Mhm.
help.
Mhm.
Um, Somehow I feel more relaxed there, and I
Mhm.
usually do a hard reset every summertime hiking in the Alps. It's
Mhm.
typically 1-2 weeks pure hiking. It's very nice. It's
I
not
I
very.
get those photos. I get those photos.
Yeah, you know my photos, and you know that my family is so nice and endures
Mhm.
these hikes
Mhm.
because they are.
Wha Your girls are really tough cookies, I would say. The level of hikes that you arrange for them,
eh,
chapeau bas
And
to them.
thanks in their name, but it's also I always have the feeling because I see the levels up that I'm nowhere, and I always think about there are further mountains and bigger hikes. But yeah, that's one
Mhm.
one thing. Another one is which is very effective.
Is a mutual one that we have together.
It's music.
Yes, that's the second one, maybe. That we enjoy a rather, I would say, heavier genre of music. Maybe I'm not at the level of you, but
It's
some people would say, yeah, how can you relax with that noise, and it's so soothing, right?
it
That
is
you
very
put
much.
on your headphones and just blast some heavier notes,
And
right?
and and depending on the mood, and here we are not debating styles and bands and music
Mm.
styles because it makes no sense. And somebody might find Adele or lounge music very soothing, but I really have to tell that for certain type of moods and rage to handle, you need certain type of music for sure.
Mm. And I know your feelings about Adele and Michel Bublé, so let's not
They are
let's not
they are
talk.
perfect. They are perfect. And
What I would add, obviously, like you mentioned hiking, and that's the long term at exercise. I mean, like walking, this sort of thing. But I was actually talking about the thing that we both like to do. You're the expert there. I'm the, let's say, the novice one. Is that we play tennis.
it does help,
And
definitely.
and the feeling of just I and for me, I go play tennis on Friday at 8 p.m. And
Strictly.
that that is a perfect time, because you get the opportunity to smack balls with a racket very hard, and just relieve that stress and tension after a whole week. I
Yeah,
know you
it
do that more often, so
somewhat.
uh,
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you're the more relaxed one. But again, um, you know, it might be very obvious, but heavy physical exercise is definitely something that can really relieve
Stress and
this my mild side effects of our day-to-day
yeah.
work.
There are also scientific studies on racket sports, not only tennis, but every racket and ball
Mm,
sport which needs focus. You cannot think about work. You cannot think about your
mhm,
day-to-day issues. You have to focus on the game for that
mhm,
60
mhm,
minutes, 120 minutes, whatever that you're playing it. And it really helps to decompress. And because if you don't, you won't be able to play. Because if you think about
mhm,
work, if you think about your problems,
mhm.
you won't hit the ball the same way or at all. So that's why it helps.
Maybe
And
maybe you think about the problems for a second, but then when you whack them a couple of times, then they go
they
away. They
fly
they
away.
they go away like the ball.
Indeed, they do. And you see it also who is playing from
Mm.
passion and anger and who is playing later on with more control. But and of course the most important one is of course fun and humor. It does help
Mhm,
to cope with things. And
mhm,
why I mentioned this, at one of the big pharma companies I worked for, there was a training
mhm,
how humor and fun is not allowed in the office because people might get offended
mhm.
by practically a lot of things. And there was a 45 minutes training on how to talk more simple, more plain ways, not to use any fun, sarcasm, and humor in the office.
So now you're in this case, I understand you're referencing that you always need a three-person chat group on WhatsApp with a strange name,
Indeed.
where you can share all the reels, memes, and talk about just bullshit.
Indeed. And it does help to cope with a lot of things.
Mm.
This is what I
Mm.
think. It helps to keep you sane.
I mean, for me, it's been like that. That you have a worse day, and then you just have your support group to whom you can say, "Guys, I had a shitty day today."
And that really helps.
We spoke about the mild side effects of being one team's call away from a mental breakdown. Let's talk about the serious part. What happens if you don't take care of yourself, and you just let the grind take you with the flow, right?
Take over. Yeah.
Uh, so we touched on the part, work hard, play hard, and we spoke about what the play hard part means for us. So you know what could be the serious effect of that, Balash?
So obviously, and how we're coping with that is
Mhm.
to decrease stress and decompress. Ethyl alcohol was always the first choice, and
Mhm.
still remains a top flyer for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and also further lines of treatment was because burnout is also related sometimes to anxiety, and
Mhm.
anxiety medications are widely used also because of that. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
of course, anxiety medications are prescribed for a bunch of other symptoms and not
Mhm.
necessarily in the right order as well. But in Eastern Europe, it's very common to prescribe these benzodiazepines and
Mhm.
so the clonazepams. I don't want to use brand names a lot, but all the
Mhm.
Xanaxes and the Xanax family to make it
Mhm.
easier.
Mhm.
And they are working pretty well, but yeah, they have certain dependency and the side effects are not so mild, I would say.
Mhm.
Now, the other area, which is when it gets very serious, of course, there are modern medication to treat major depressive disorders and all the families of the SSRIs and SNRIs, so the selective
Mhm.
serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are very popular. It's a huge family of molecules, and I love
Mhm.
them a lot. And they are
And we
working
want to
well.
mention that Balash definitely wants to expand on that topic. So we
Not this time.
consider this episode, let's say, an intro to, let's say, a flowing to another segment that we'll be discussing on antidepressants. That's a spoiler from our side, but yes, Balash, sorry for interruption.
No, no, that's it. And of course, they work the best if people combine it with therapy as well. So
Mm-hmm.
classic psychotherapy. It also works for a lot of people and helps to understand themselves, understand the right methods for themselves. But again, very subjective. And I think some extent burnout is not only related to social anxiety but also certain panic
Mm-hmm.
disorders, and those are also handled typically with sertraline or paroxetine or
Mm-hmm.
venlafaxine, um, because they work really pretty well, but they are very serious drugs.
And I remember the time, of COVID times, right? Where we worked together for one company, and we had the opportunity to see the growth of the products that we were selling for those specific drugs, which were skyrocketing, right?
uh, there was a lot of uncertainty and people had a lot of stress, obviously,
Mm,
and um, alcohol consumption went up, and all the anxiety medication, sleep
mm,
medication, they were flying high. I think
mm,
still today they are relatively high compared
mm,
to the pre-COVID times. I don't have the freshest data in front of me, but still, all these SSRIs, they are going very well.
mm,
Also with the
mm,
anxiety medications, yes.
yeah. Yeah. So I just coming back from to the previous, let's say, method of coping, and again, this is not a real method. This is how people cope when we were talking about the alcohol intake. There is a statistic in Poland, and you are a fan of the Żabka stores where you can buy a good hot dog, right? But those
Or
stores are
anything
also
else?
but those stores are known for selling a million pieces of these small 100 milliliter or 200 milliliter bottles of vodka
Hmm.
before noon in Poland every day. So that's the point where there are people who are setting themselves up as active alcoholics for the day by having starting the day off by a, a shot of alcohol.
and they are working in functional
Yeah,
alcohol. It's
yeah,
as in whole Eastern Europe, it's very similar that they go to work, they do something useful and they provide for their family,
mhm,
but they need a couple of shots to start the day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And that's they have this very important, it sounds like a joke, but it's reality that
Yeah,
in
it
in
is
whole
very
East,
serious.
it's whole Eastern Europe, it's true that do you have problems with alcohol in your family? No, everybody gets enough. And that's
That's a dark joke.
yes, but that's also very true for our region.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Okay. Balazs, I think we've went through this topic on a very very high level, and
Indeed.
the intention of this was just to, let's say, skim the top. Have a have an overview on how you deal with work stress on a daily basis. What are the mild side effects, what are the serious ones. We definitely want to treat this as an important topic, and as we are the best pharma podcast out there, we want to go into the pharmaceutical part later on. So this was treated more of an introduction from our side to this topic. Of course, we're not going to go into that immediately because if we look at our plan, we've got some other topics that we want to discuss, but it'll be like a recurring one in the next steps. So that's something that we wanted to signal to our millions of followers out there.
And stay with us and find out what we have on mental health.
Indeed, and also other topics. Good, Balazs. I know that you have some plans this for this day, so let's wrap up. And to anyone who's still out there and enjoying their time off, please enjoy this time off being disconnected. And again, you saw our wonderful celebration post in the style of Leonardo DiCaprio on LinkedIn. We want to wish you again a great 2026. Let it be calmer. Let it have not much changes, revolutions. Although we've seen on the news, third day of the year already, a lot of stuff happening out there in the world. Let's hope that 2026 will be a much more peaceful one.
Stay with us, and yeah, but I'm sure based on these news that anxiety medication will still go very well this year.
Good. So this was another episode of the Mild Side Effects podcast. My name is Michał.
This is Balazs.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Take care.
Mild Side Effects,